when struggling nurse Elena crashes into mysterious billionaire Adrian Blackwood's world. Their collision ignites a dangerous game of love, lies, and deadly deception. What starts as a chance encounter in the rain becomes a twisted web of family secrets, corporate espionage, and a love so powerful it demands the ultimate sacrifice. Greetings, fellow dreamers. This tale is filled with love, secrets, and a twist you'll never forget. Step into the tale. Rain hammered the cracked pavement as Elena Vasquez clutched the eviction notice against her chest, the ink already bleeding in the downpour. The neon lights of the city blurred through her tears as she stumbled down the alley behind Mercy General Hospital, her scrubs soaked through from another 16-hour shift that barely paid enough to survive. She didn't see the black Lamborghini until it was too late. The impact sent her sprawling across the hood, medical files scattering like confetti in the storm. Through the windshield, she locked eyes with the driver, a man whose face was carved from marble and shadow, his steel gray eyes wide with something that looked almost like recognition. He was out of the car in seconds, his expensive suit getting ruined as he knelt beside her on the wet asphalt. "Jesus, are you okay?" "I didn't see you until I'm fine," Elena snapped, scrambling to gather the soggy papers. Her voice cracked with exhaustion and humiliation. "Just another invisible person you rich bastards run over. Let me take you to the hospital. You could have internal injuries. I work at the hospital." She stood on shaking legs, noticing how he towered over her despite her 5'8" frame. Rain dripped from his dark hair, and she caught the faint scent of cedar and something dangerously masculine. "And I can't afford whatever guilt money you're about to throw at me." His jaw tightened. "This isn't about money. Everything's about money." She turned to walk away, but her knees buckled. Strong arms caught her before she hit the ground. "You're coming with me, like hell I am? You're bleeding." His voice was quiet, almost gentle. "And unless I'm mistaken, that's an eviction notice you're trying to protect from the rain?" Elena's defenses crumbled as she looked up into his face. There was something broken in those gray eyes, something that matched the hollow ache in her chest. "Why do you care?" "Because," he said, lifting her effortlessly into his arms. "We're both bleeding." As he carried her toward his car, Elena caught sight of his license plate. Blackwood. Her blood turned to ice. She knew that name. Everyone in the city knew that name. And if the rumors were true, she'd just collided with the most dangerous man alive. Elena woke in silk sheets that cost more than her monthly rent, sunlight filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows that offered a view of the entire city. The penthouse was a study in controlled elegance, all clean lines and muted colors, like its owner had surgically removed anything that might hint at warmth or humanity. "You're awake." She turned to find him standing in the doorway, no longer the rain-soaked stranger from last night. Adrian Blackwood looked every inch the billionaire CEO of the tabloids painted him as perfectly pressed shirt, hair styled with mathematical precision, but those same haunted gray eyes. "Where are my clothes?" "Being cleaned." "You're wearing my shirt." His gaze swept over her, clinical yet somehow intimate. "Your x-rays came back clean. No broken bones, just severe exhaustion and malnutrition." Heat flooded her cheeks. "You had no right, you collapsed in my arms." "I had every right." He moved closer, and she caught that cedar scent again. "When's the last time you ate a real meal?" "I don't need your pity." "Good, because I'm not offering pity." He sat on the edge of the bed, close enough that she could see the faint scar running along his jaw. "I'm offering a job." Elena pulled the sheets higher. "What kind of job?" "My father is dying." The words came out flat, emotionless. "Pancreatic cancer. He has maybe 6 weeks, and he's refusing treatment." "I'm sorry, but I don't see how he wants to die at home. I need a private nurse. Someone who won't run to the press about the great Victor Blackwood's final moments." Adrian's voice turned sharp. "Someone who needs the money badly enough to sign an ironclad NDA." The offer hit her like a physical blow. Private nursing paid 10 times what she made at the hospital. It could change everything. "Why me?" "Because you looked me in the eye last night and called me a rich bastard without flinching." "Because you need this job, and I need someone who isn't afraid of powerful men. And if I say no?" His smile was razor thin. Then you walk out of here and go back to your evicted apartment and your minimum wage job. And we pretend last night never happened." Elena stared at him. This beautiful, dangerous man who held her future in his hands. "There's something you're not telling me. There's a lot I'm not telling you." Adrian stood, straightening his cuffs. "But here's what matters. My father destroyed my mother. Broke her so completely that she put a gun to her head when I was 16. And now he's dying, alone and afraid, exactly like he deserves." The venom in his voice made her shiver. "You want me to take care of someone you hate. I want you to help him die with dignity he doesn't deserve. Because despite everything, still my father." Elena saw the war raging behind his composed facade, the same kind of pain that kept her awake at nights. "What's the catch?" "The catch," Adrian said, his eyes never leaving hers, "is that you'll be living here with me, and my father has one dying wish, which is, he wants to meet my fiancée before he dies." 3 weeks into the charade, Elena found herself genuinely caring for the dying man who'd terrorized his son's childhood. Victor Blackwood was nothing like she'd expected, sharp-witted despite the morphine, surprisingly gentle, and utterly charmed by the woman he believed would marry his son. "You're good for him," Victor whispered, as Elena adjusted his IV drip. His once powerful frame had withered to skin and bone, but his eyes still held traces of the ruthless businessman who'd built an empire. Adrian smiles now. "I haven't seen him smile since Margaret died." Elena's chest tightened. "Tell me about her. Beautiful, fragile, too pure for this world." Victor's breathing grew labored. "I was so focused on building the business I didn't see what it was doing to her. The pressure, the enemies I made, the threats against our family." She couldn't handle it, through the window. Elena could see Adrian in the garden below, phone pressed to his ear, shoulders rigid with tension. Even from this distance, she could read the exhaustion in his posture. "He blames me," Victor continued. "And he should. I chose money over love, power over family. Don't let him make the same mistake. Elena, don't let him push you away when things get difficult. Mr. Blackwood, promise." "Me." His grip on her hand was surprisingly strong. "Promise me you'll fight for him. He spent so long protecting himself that he's forgotten how to let anyone in." Before Elena could respond, Adrian appeared in the doorway. "How is he today?" "Stable," she said, slipping into her professional voice. "But his breathing is getting more shallow." Adrian nodded curtly and left without another word. It had been like this for days, polite, distant, treating her like hired help rather than his supposed fiancée. Only late at night, when he thought she was asleep, did she catch glimpses of the man who'd held her in the rain. That evening, she found him in his study, surrounded by legal documents and empty whiskey glasses. "You're drinking too much?" "I'm grieving." He didn't look up from the contract he was reviewing. "It's what people do, is it? Or are you just trying to numb yourself before you have to feel something real?" His head snapped up, eyes blazing. "You don't know anything about what I feel. I know you sit outside his room every night listening to him breathe. I know you haven't slept more than 3 hours at a time since I've been here. And I know you're terrified that losing him means losing the only family you have left." "Stop." The word came out raw, broken. Elena moved closer, her heart pounding. "I know because I recognize it. That fear of being completely alone in the world, Elena," her name was a warning. "Your father loves you, Adrian. He's dying and all he wants is to see you happy. Even if it's just pretend." Something shattered in his expression. "You think this is pretend?" The air between them crackled with electricity. Elena's breath caught as he stood, moving toward her with predatory grace. "Adrian, don't, what?" He was close enough now that she could see the gold flecks in his gray eyes. "Don't admit that this stopped being pretend the moment I saw you bleeding in that alley. Don't tell you that I've imagined kissing you every night for 3 weeks?" His hands framed her face, thumbs tracing her cheekbones. "Don't confess that I'm falling in love with a woman who's going to disappear the moment my father dies." Before she could respond, his lips crashed against hers. The kiss was desperate, hungry, full of 3 weeks of suppressed longing and the bitter knowledge that their time was running out. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Elena's phone buzzed with a text message. The screen lit up, and Adrian's face went white as he read it over her shoulder. The message was from her supervisor at Mercy General. Elena, Victor Blackwood died 3 days ago. Funeral was yesterday. Hope you're doing okay after losing your patient? Elena's hands shook as she stared at the phone screen. I don't understand. Adrian stepped back, his face transforming into something cold and unrecognizable. Don't you? Adrian, I swear to you, I don't know what this means. It means you're a very good actress. His voice was ice. 3 weeks of playing the grieving nurse, the reluctant fiancée, the woman falling in love, all while my father has been dead and buried. Elena's world tilted. That's impossible. He's upstairs. I just gave him his medication an hour ago, did you? Adrian pulled out his phone, fingers flying over the screen. Because according to this death certificate, Victor Blackwood died of complications from pancreatic cancer on October 15th at 3:47 a.m. The date hit her like a physical blow. 3 days before Adrian had found her in the alley. 3 days before the car accident that now felt orchestrated rather than coincidental. Who paid you? Adrian's voice was deadly quiet. How much were you offered to play this game? No one paid me anything? Elena's voice cracked. I've been caring for your father. I've been here every day, watching him fade. You've been watching an actor I hired. Adrian's laugh was bitter. A very good one, I'll give you that. Marcus has been playing dying men for years. Movie sets, insurance fraud, psychological warfare. He's quite talented. The room spun around her. You hired an actor to play your dying father. I needed to know who sent you. Whether you were working for my competitors, the press, or something worse. Adrian poured himself another whiskey, his hands steady as stone. Congratulations, Elena. You passed every test except the last one. What test? The one where you were supposed to stay bought. He gestured to the phone. But someone made a mistake. Someone who knew the real timeline and forgot to keep their story straight. Elena sank into a chair, her mind reeling. You think I'm working for someone? I know you are. The question is who? Adrian's eyes never left her face, cataloging every micro-expression. Was it Nathaniel Cross? My board of directors? Some tabloid looking for an inside story? I'm not working for anyone. The words tore from her throat. I'm a nurse from East Cleveland who got evicted and hit by your car. That's it. That's the whole story? Nurses from East Cleveland don't have? Offshore bank accounts in the Cayman Islands. Elena went cold. What? $50,000 deposited the day after our accident. Another $25,000 3 days later. All traced back to a shell corporation owned by Cross Industries. Adrian's smile was sharp enough to cut. My biggest competitor, who's been trying to destroy me for years. I don't have any offshore accounts. I don't even have a regular savings account. Elena stood on shaking legs. Adrian, someone is setting me up. Someone is setting one of us up. He drained his whiskey. The question is whether you're the victim or the weapon. Elena's phone buzzed again. This time it was a photo. Her, walking into a high-end restaurant with a man she'd never seen before. The timestamp showed yesterday, when she'd supposedly been here, caring for Adrian's fake father. I've never seen this man in my life, she whispered. His name is Marcus Chen, Cross's head of acquisitions. Also an expert in corporate espionage and psychological manipulation. Adrian showed her his own phone, a recording of a phone conversation. Her voice, clear as day, discussing payment schedules and exit strategies. That's not me, Elena said. But even she could hear how weak it sounded. It's your voice. Your speech patterns. Even your accent. Adrian pocketed his phone. Whoever hired you, Elena, they're very thorough. The question is, are you going to keep lying, or are you going to tell me why Cross wants me destroyed badly enough to orchestrate this elaborate con? Elena looked into his eyes and saw nothing but cold calculation where warmth had been just moments before. The man who'd kissed her, who'd confessed to falling in love, was gone. In his place stood the ruthless CEO the world feared. Get out, he said quietly. Adrian, please get out before I call security. And Elena? He turned back to his desk, already dismissing her. If you really are innocent, you should run. Because when I find out who's behind this, I'm going to destroy them. And anyone who helped them. As Elena stumbled toward the door, she caught sight of her reflection in the darkened window. Standing there in his shirt hair, must from his kiss. She looked exactly like what she was, a woman who'd just lost everything again. But as she reached for the door handle, Adrian's voice stopped her cold. By the way, your real patient wants to see you. Victor Blackwood is very much alive, and he's been watching this entire conversation from the next room. The man who entered the room was nothing like the gentle patient Elena had been caring for. Victor Blackwood was tall, imposing, with silver hair and the same steel-gray eyes as his son. But unlike Adrian, he looked at Elena with something that might have been regret. "Hello, my dear. I apologize for the deception." His voice was strong, commanding. "But I had to know if you were genuine." Elena's legs gave out. She collapsed into the nearest chair, her mind struggling to process the layers of lies. "None of it was real. Your feelings were real," Victor said gently. "And so were his." "Adrian's feelings?" Elena's laugh was hollow. "He thinks I'm a corporate spy, because that's what I needed him to think." Victor moved to the window, gazing out at the city lights. "My son has built walls so high that no one can reach him. But you did. In 3 weeks, you accomplished what I've been trying to do for 20 years. What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about love, Elena. Real, terrifying, life-changing love." Victor turned back to her. "Do you think Adrian would have reacted so violently if you didn't matter to him? He accused me of being a liar." "A spy. He accused you of breaking his heart." Victor's smile was sad. "The offshore accounts, the photos, the recordings, they're all fake. Manufactured evidence that will disappear by morning." Elena stared at him. "You framed me. I tested you. And you passed." Victor pulled out a tablet, showing her bank records. "Real offshore accounts in your name, Elena? $5 million transferred from my personal holdings? Payment for a job well done." "What job?" "Saving my son's life." Before Elena could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the penthouse. Red lights flashed, and she could hear shouting from somewhere below. "What's happening?" "Nathaniel Cross is making his move." Victor's calm was terrifying. He's been planning a hostile takeover for months, but he needed Adrian emotionally compromised first. Distracted, vulnerable, the pieces clicked together in Elena's mind. The car accident wasn't an accident. Cross's people have been tracking your routine for weeks. They knew exactly when and where you'd be walking. Victor handed her a gun from his desk drawer. "They plan to use you as leverage against Adrian. But I got to you first. This is insane." Elena backed toward the door. "I'm leaving. You can't leave." Cross's men are already in the building. As if summoned by his words, the lights went out. Emergency lighting bathed everything in an eerie red glow, and Elena could hear the distant sound of gunfire. "Where's Adrian?" she demanded. "Safe room. Lockdown protocol." Victor's voice was grim. "But he won't stay there long. Not when he thinks you're in danger. I thought he hated me now. He loves you. That's why this is going to work." Elena turned to face him, understanding dawning. "You're using me as bait. I'm giving you a choice." Victor's eyes were steel. "Walk away now, and Adrian dies tonight. Cross will kill him the moment he leaves that safe room, looking for you, or you help me save him. But it will cost you everything. Your identity, your life as Elena Vasquez, your chance at a normal existence. You'll have to disappear completely." The gunfire was getting closer. Elena could hear boots on marble, shouting voices, the systematic search of a hostile team. "Why would you ask me to sacrifice everything for a man who thinks I betrayed him?" "Because," Victor said softly, "you love him enough to do it." Elena closed her eyes, thinking of Adrian's smile in those rare unguarded moments. The way he'd held her in the rain, the desperate hunger in his kiss. When she opened them, her decision was made. "What do you need me to do?" Victor's answering smile was proud and heartbroken. Be the hero he needs you to be. 20 minutes later, Adrian found Elena's body in the main hallway, surrounded by Cross's dead operatives. She'd fought them off long enough for Victor to trigger the building's security system, but the cost had been everything. He held her as she died, whispering promises and apologies she'd never hear. And when it was over, when Cross was dead and the threat ended, Adrian learned the truth from his father's confession. Elena Vasquez had never been a spy. She'd been a nurse who'd gotten caught between powerful men, and she'd chosen love over survival. The $5 million went to a scholarship fund in her name. The official story was a gas leak explosion, and Adrian Blackwood learned to live with the knowledge that the only woman who'd ever loved him had died believing he thought her a liar. But every year, on the anniversary of that night, a single white rose appeared on her grave, with a note that simply read, "I know the truth now. Forgive me." Some sacrifices echo through eternity, and some love stories are written in blood and regret. The end.